Welcome to Blue Health Daily.
If you're trying to lose weight, there's one question that almost everyone asks at the beginning of the journey. If you're trying to lose weight, there's one question that almost everyone asks at the beginning of the journey. The answer becomes incredibly confusing. Some people say you should eat 1,200 calories. Others claim you should never count calories at all. You'll find influencers online telling you to cut carbs, avoid eating after 6 p.m., or follow some extreme diet that promises fast results. But here's the reality. Most beginners are not failing because they lack motivation. They're failing because they don't know how many calories their body actually needs. Some people eat far too little and end up exhausted, hungry, and frustrated. Others believe they are eating healthy, but unknowingly consume far more calories than they realize. Both situations lead to the same outcome: confusion and stalled progress. The truth is, understanding calories does not need to be complicated. Once you understand a few simple principles, you can estimate your calorie needs with surprising accuracy. You don't need a complicated formula, a fancy calculator, or a restrictive diet plan. You just need a clear starting point. And in this video, you're going to learn exactly how to estimate the number of calories you should eat to begin losing weight. Before we talk about numbers, however, we need to address why calories are so confusing in the first place. One of the biggest reasons people struggle with calorie management is misinformation. Social media is filled with conflicting advice about weight loss. One person tells you that carbs make you fat. Another says fat is the real problem. Someone else claims that meal timing is everything. With so many voices sharing opinions, it becomes difficult to know what actually matters. Many diets work temporarily, not because they contain magical rules, but because they accidentally reduce calories. When someone cuts out sugary drinks, snacks, and processed foods, they often reduce their calorie intake without realizing it. The diet itself may not be special. The calorie reduction is what produces the weight loss. Another reason calories feel confusing is that people often underestimate how much they eat. Portion sizes today are much larger than they were decades ago. Restaurant meals frequently contain far more calories than most people expect. Even small additions like cooking oils, sauces, or beverages can significantly increase daily intake. For example, a single tablespoon of olive oil contains around 120 calories. Many people pour 2 or 3 tablespoons into a pan without thinking about it. That alone could add several hundred calories to a meal. Drinks are another hidden source of calories. Coffee drinks, sodas, smoothies, and alcohol can easily contribute hundreds of calories per day. Because liquids do not create the same feeling of fullness as solid food, people often consume them without realizing their impact. There is also the opposite problem. Some beginners go too far in the other direction and eat far too little. They believe that if eating slightly less causes weight loss, then eating dramatically less must produce faster results. So they slash their calories down to 1,000 or even 800 per day. At first, the scale might drop quickly, but soon, hunger becomes overwhelming, energy disappears, and cravings intensify. Eventually, the body pushes back, and the person either overeats or abandons the plan completely. This is why guessing with calories rarely works. Weight loss becomes far easier when you understand how the body uses energy. Every day, your body burns calories in several different ways. The largest portion of your daily calorie burn comes from something called your basal metabolic rate. This refers to the energy your body uses simply to stay alive. Even if you spent the entire day resting, your body would still need energy to power your organs, circulate blood, regulate temperature, and maintain essential biological functions. For most people, this accounts for roughly 60 to 70% of the calories burned each day. The second category is movement and daily activity. This includes walking, standing, cleaning, working, and all the small physical actions that occur throughout the day. Even simple movements contribute to calorie burn. The third category is exercise. Workouts, sports, and training sessions fall into this group. Interestingly, exercise usually accounts for a smaller portion of daily calorie burn than many people expect. Finally, there is something called the thermic effect of food. Your body uses energy to digest and process the food you eat. Protein requires more energy to digest than carbohydrates or fats, which is one reason higher protein diets often help with weight loss. When all these factors combine, they create your total daily energy expenditure. This represents the number of calories your body burns during an average day. If you eat roughly the same number of calories that your body burns, your weight tends to stay stable. If you eat more, your body stores the extra energy as fat. If you eat less, your body begins using stored energy to make up the difference. This is the fundamental mechanism behind weight loss. The next step is learning how to estimate your maintenance calories. These represent the number of calories your body needs to maintain its current weight. There are many complicated formulas used by scientists and dietitians, but beginners do not need complex calculations. A simple estimate works surprisingly well for most people. One practical starting point is to multiply your body weight in pounds by 14 or 15. The second category is movement and daily activity. This includes walking, standing, cleaning, working, and all the small physical actions that occur throughout the day. Even simple movements contribute to calorie burn. The third category is exercise. Workouts, sports, and training sessions fall into this group. Interestingly, exercise usually accounts for a smaller portion of daily calorie burn than many people expect. Finally, there is something called the thermic effect of food. Your body uses energy to digest and process the food you eat. Protein requires more energy to digest than carbohydrates or fats, which is one reason higher protein diets often help with weight loss. When all these factors combine, they create your total daily energy expenditure. Returning to our example, if the estimated maintenance level is around 2,500 calories, reducing intake to approximately 2,000 to 2,200 calories could create a sustainable deficit. This approach allows the body to gradually use stored fat while still receiving enough energy and nutrients to function properly. One important detail to remember is that calorie estimates are only starting points. The body is dynamic, and real progress must be observed over time. After choosing your starting calorie target, track your intake and monitor progress for about 2 weeks. Pay attention to trends rather than daily fluctuations. Body weight can shift slightly from day to day due to water balance, sodium intake, stress, or sleep. Instead of focusing on a single number, look for gradual changes across several days or weeks. If weight begins trending downward slowly, the calorie level is likely appropriate. If weight remains unchanged after several weeks, a small adjustment may be necessary. Reducing another 100 to 200 calories or increasing daily movement can help restart progress. It's important to approach these adjustments calmly and patiently. Weight loss is rarely perfectly linear. Another critical concept is avoiding extreme restriction. Eating far too few calories may produce rapid short-term changes on the scale, but it often leads to muscle loss, fatigue, and powerful cravings. When the body perceives severe energy shortage, it may also reduce spontaneous movement and slow certain metabolic processes. Sustainable fat loss happens when the calorie deficit is large enough to create progress, but small enough to maintain consistency. Calories alone, however, are not the entire story. The types of foods you choose within your calorie target also influence how easy the process feels. Many beginners make the mistake of filling their calorie allowance with foods that leave them hungry. Highly processed foods often digest quickly and provide limited satiety, which can make sticking to a deficit more difficult. On the other hand, foods that are rich in protein, fiber, and whole ingredients tend to be more filling. Lean meats, eggs, yogurt, legumes, vegetables, fruits, and whole grains provide nutrients that support both health and appetite control. Protein, in particular, plays an important role in weight loss. It helps preserve muscle during a calorie deficit, and it promotes feelings of fullness. When meals include sufficient protein, people often find it easier to maintain their calorie targets without constant hunger. Another common mistake beginners make is ignoring beverages. Many drinks contain significant calories while providing little satiety. Sugary coffee drinks, sodas, fruit juices, and alcoholic beverages can add hundreds of calories to daily intake without making you feel full. Being aware of these hidden calories can make a large difference. Weekend habits also deserve attention. Some people maintain a calorie deficit throughout the week, but unintentionally consume large amounts of food during weekends. When the extra calories from a few days offset the deficit from earlier in the week, overall progress can stall. Consistency across the entire week is more important than perfection on individual days. What kind of problem could we solve? It is also important to maintain realistic expectations. Healthy fat loss generally occurs at a rate of about half a pound to 1 pound per week for many people. While faster results sometimes occur at the beginning, steady, gradual progress tends to be more sustainable. The goal is not to rush the process. It is to build habits that allow weight management to become predictable and manageable. To summarize, calculating your calorie needs does not require complicated math. Begin by estimating maintenance calories using body weight multiplied by 14 or 15. Reduce that number slightly to create a moderate calorie deficit. Track intake and observe progress for a few weeks. If necessary, make small adjustments rather than drastic changes. Weight loss is a process of observation and adjustment, not perfection. Once you understand how calories influence your body, the journey becomes far less mysterious. Instead of chasing new diets or following confusing advice, you gain a clear framework that you can adjust over time. But calories alone do not determine success. The next important question is what those calories should be made of. Should you focus on carbohydrates, fats, or something else? Many beginners unknowingly make their next big mistake at this stage. In the next video, we're going to explore the one nutrient that can make weight loss significantly easier, help protect muscle, and keep hunger under control. Because once you understand that piece of the puzzle, everything about fat loss becomes much simpler. What kind of problem could we solve? Knowledge is infinite, and what I know is, honestly, just a grain of sand in the desert. Hitting the like button and subscribing is totally free, but it's a huge motivation for me to keep making better videos for you. Thank you so much for your support. I hope this gave you some helpful insights into health. If you have any thoughts, questions, or comments, feel free to drop them below.